It's been a while since I've posted these pieces, do these videos. Figured I'd bring one to you. I meant to put this yesterday. I meant to put this up yesterday, but I'm gonna make up for it. This is called Botanist. Therapeutic sessions to dig these holes into the soil of my expressions with communications on the landlines. Digital connection lines are the norm compared to the disconnection that's rare. Okay, time to plant this seed as these thoughts continue to grow exponentially. This is that new to supply my mind. From the old reflections, these are the roots of my problems that became hidden solutions over time. My soul is the minds of these gems being revealed to have value that's priceless integrity. Also applying the pressure that even when the grass itches the palms of my hands, I ain't scratching to see the worst of withdrawals from counting stacks upon digits upon numerical bottom lines. I don't need any slithering reptiles trying to feed off the leeches trying to feed off me. That's too much broken trust to come around and go ahead to proceed with cautionary tales of tall orders and short periods of time because I ain't got the time for it. So, as the stem of my continuous journey reaches, then comes the breaches in every timeline that are from retreads to the more recent, what I've seen and what I've listened to that plays into the same news cycle just on different days. If it ain't one thing, it's another trying to smother the minds with hate towards one another instead of highlighting people trying to help each other. How much more of the rain and hail of bullets is it going to take to get the bigger picture? That for every life taken, there's a price on the very person who pulled it. For example, May 24th, 22, yet again, school shootings became the bread and butter of teaching duck and cover. But what good was that going to do when it's been said that 21 bodies hit the ground, leaving us to think that over? 2 adults took hits, and 19 kids that didn't get to see their life truly begin. Looking at the big name stars that fell ill to natural causes. For those who passed away, their legacy shouldn't be tarnished. We celebrate their lives by appreciating what they've given with such high statuses on the low, they still human. Local stabbings and robbings, that includes the attemptings from young bloods to elderly. The streets and corner stores are littered with even kidnappings and subway near deaths to having more death tolls counted, as if we didn't have to worry about that beforehand. Now, the variants, mandates, and vaccines brought out even worse from specific individual persons of conflicted interest. Baby daddy, baby mama drama, at first calling it love, then it's the internet wildfire. Heated arguments on top of heated arguments, footage and comment section. Amazing how it came to this. RICO charges piled up on many charges of gun possession, drug busts, investigating lyrics to say that's deciphering the street aesthetics, the block Olympics, the code's existence. Meanwhile, a black businessman busting out in tears, not over his clients per se, but over all his investments. Do I dare say hilarious? Might as well, because moving on from that, women's bodies are still up for sale. For the headlines, that is. There's always talk about pleasure, eye candy, wanting to own the narratives of sexuality and powerful, at times subtle, presence. Roe v. Wade, for breeding more children, whether or not it was by force, it carried on till now. From homophobic words, speeches plaguing the importance of community and inclusion, to pulling out a piece in a store, seeming like it's on purpose, or looked at as self-defense, innocent till proven guilty for grooming, abusing young women, the reverse of abuse, finagling schemes upon men, to opening up in a society of mostly closed minds being tunnel vision versus innovation through hard times. Focus on the hits. It ain't about the message. This ain't a fix. It's just bandages. Courtroom cases that at times when bringing evidence on both sides, battling it out to seek the settlements from the word of mouth, coming from the defendant and the plaintiff in question. Who do we believe anymore? Seems like the opportunity to act is when one's back's against the wall. Then the court of public opinion means the tour of scrutiny when taking a loss. But even when there's a win, is that good feeling soon lost? Politics is an all-time flux. When lining the culprits up, apologies are on crutches, broken limbs on a broken body means broken system. When the seesaw of decisions to be made are without a fulcrum. So here comes the closed caption bickering that follows. While the European war still rages on, it ain't no secret. And even if it were to fizzle out, debates are always in to look for arsenals of power. Desperation wears an entitled grin on top of entertaining the entertainment in many forms. The more negative effects means the less positive effect in nothing but chores. Trying to clean up small messes from big issues. That's trending and spewing tension, regurgitating pressures of correctness, sensitive subjects with oversensitive responses, less of a conversation, and more of typewriter cancellation. How many keyboard warriors does it take to point out the redundance? Seems like too many to count because they expand by the second. How many more of the slurs and stereotypical remarks cause violence from racial bias? Too much to confirm a definitive answer, while class also play a part in the wedge prior to hedge funds and purchases keeping up barriers to separate social economics, every leaf that'll be spent to make, every branch that connects the dots to more investments just to say less worries, only trim the minimal losses just to maximize the profits. All this in a bag of consciousness as I listen to the bars and watch them move with purpose, from cooking up to selling out and feed the block to make it through, to step in the doors of establishing themselves as the living proof, from barely getting by to acknowledging their talents, the show and tell of adjusting to a new life, presented and reminiscing the old establishment. The best way to move forward is to recognize the past from the present. I've only spoken brief about the subjects I told because everybody knows, especially when retold. But sometimes reiterating these points to address and not pander could easily be a blur towards the reverse, opposite of candor, denial instead of admitting it. When admitting to denial is the relief I'm blessed with. Photosynthesis and metamorphosis is beautiful, considering the option of releasing the burdens. Even with the family drama that came from the extended, there was no reason to let it linger on longer than expected. My immediate and I would rather bask in our own successes, breaking away from being tied down with ignorance attached to fixing up our dynamic with needed enlightenment. Promises that actually mean something. Praise the Lord for all the signs pointing in every direction necessary, but to also include the few of the extended that want to come to reason with the main understanding our frustrations, that the more bridges that are burned, the less connection we have with anyone who ain't truly seeing us for the loving and giving people we are. And to guide us through societal expectations and media frenzy, to maneuver and find our own paths, that with each trial and tribulation we face, we've been prepared to take on the current state of existence with patience, to grace this world with presence, and to leave this world with acceptance. The only exception right now is living. Plus a slowly reoccurring thought every now and again. What about the friends I've had, the new faces I've met, and the few I still have today? That one day, if or when I make myself official in my pursuits, will they see me and hear me finally? Not popping in too early or dropping in too late, that it's the right moment for them to really get to know who I am through my passion, or they'll just look at me, let alone Ben saw me, as an inconvenience or a no show because my momentum wasn't consistent or I wasn't really on their radar in the first place. So, as hard as it is to think about at a time like this, it weighs heavy on the scales of the mind and heart. Notice how the ups and downs, the more or less connections and lines, time and comparisons repeatedly said that could describe me being overwhelmed, but also allowing me to summarize myself in the growth of me, where my thoughts, opinions, and feelings take me, where breathing exercises provide the clarity that I needed to sustain real interactions to help me stay sane, to help keep me sane. The writing that I do can ease my pain. The entertainment I spare can pump the brakes from my eye strain. To balance entertainment with the music I love to bring me solace and appreciation. The older I get, the younger I feel. The wiser I get, the better my youth appeals, peeling back these layers of the confrontation I'm facing with the man in the mirror that is my own. At first, I was on the search of my soul that was buried, with no water and no sun to feed on the nutrients that brings me knowledge, that teaches me lessons of responsibility and ownership of my actions. My words that serves my conscience, that even nonverbal responses says a lot about me as a person. This is my tree. Repression ain't worth the silent garden. What's spoken was also taught. It only takes one to listen. Therapeutic sessions.